Hello everyone, in the next video from Flashpoint campaigns, Southern Storm and Autobahn too far scenario. And what we've done last time. Okay, looks like the 4th, the 3rd and the 2nd platoon are deployed. So let me take a look. Those are my HQs corresponding with the 4th. That's the platoon for HQ for uh, Panzer something. The anti-tank company, if I can call it. Okay. Uh, we have mortars left. We have. Wait a second. That's the battalion HQ. Okay, right. Yeah. I have battalion and also brigade HQ, as far as I remember. That's correct. Where do I want to place my battalion HQ? Do I see any problem with other HQs, the company's HQs, like in the range to the main HQ, to the battalion HQ, I mean. So the company HQ reports to battalion HQ reports to brigade HQ, and looks like everything looks pretty solid, I would say. So let's assign them default SOPs, adjust SOP, no, set SOP, HQ, hide and screen, Uh, relocate while spotted, large stand of range, don't fire until fired upon, large initiative, avoid losses, perfection. I think we will do the same for Brigade HQ, plenty of APCs and 3 MG3 medium machine gun teams, interesting, okay. I think you can station, what's that? I would like to know what kind of city it is. Reinhardt Kaserne. Okay, so let's select also default SOP. Hide and screen, perfect. Actually, instead of screen, I would prefer to hold to get some additional defense bonus. It's always nice to have it to dig in as heavily as possible. Okay, and now we have my mortar company. Where do we like to place them? Okay. I'm wondering, I suppose that the first platoon could support the northern approach more, southern approach more. The second platoon northern. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I think th the main goal is to have a capability to put intercrossing or interlocking. I think intercrossing it makes more sense. Fire, so we can uh, utilize those platoons as effectively as possible. Now the question is where to place them. There's a couple of good spots, I think. We could place you down here. What do you think about that? Or maybe even more to the southeast. LOS, okay, nobody can see you. That's perfect. Since that's indirect fire, you don't need to see as well. So that's the placement for second platoon. The first platoon will station over there. What's the view? Okay, looks solid to me. And then we have also corresponding HQ, and that HQ can station somewhere here in the forest, on the road, so we can easily fall back to Hüttlingen. Actually, it's quite close to the main objective. Well, the main objective is bridged south of Hüttlingen. Mm, but it is quite close to the objectives. I'm worried that I may need to at some point send my HQs back. So if I could, I would prefer to keep them a little bit more north. For example, over there. What if I switch you over here, man? Okay, that's still a good position. As you can see, we can provide uh, fire support at very similar areas, which is great. Okay. The only thing I'm concerned is that we cannot support my second company. Mm, I think I've said before platoons. I'm very sorry if I did that. So yeah, I cannot really support the second company stationing north in Rullingen. So that's my biggest concern. But I cannot. I suppose I cannot deploy them closer. I could deploy them over here, but I still suppose that the enemies will rather try to concentrate around Killingen and Westerhofen instead of Rillingen. Hmm. Maybe it's better to make a little switch this way. Where's my mortar? Okay, my mortar is stationing over here. We can even place you down there. No, that looks okay. Maybe let's split them this way. Yeah, why not? I think that sounds better, certainly. Okay. What's the HQ? That's the HQ of my anti-tank. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, we are going to place those mortars this way, so I can provide just a little fire support to the northern region, as well as I can support the Killingen area. Okay, so now let's set up SOPs. This is quite crucial. Let's switch to default. Tactical initiative generous, yes. Mostly because, well, actually, I don't know how it affects fire support requests. No clue, honestly. I have no idea whether it's connected. Technically, if I read it, tactical initiative, I think it should be somehow connected. So let's keep it on very high level, actually maximum level, which is generous. So acceptable loss is minimal. That's correct. Preferred standoff range, 3 hexes. Yeah, even 4. Okay, which is 2 kilometers. Okay, let's decrease this to down to 3, which is 3. I'm sorry, 1.5 kilometers. Fire discipline, maximum range. Relocate when? Hmm, after receiving any fire? Why not? We have plenty of solid terrain to retreat. I think that's okay if we select after receiving any fire. Movement preference, both concealment and roads. We don't need to care too much about concealment since we are slightly back the front line, so that's not a huge threat to move along the roads. And I think that's it. Resupply trigger, we could decrease it down to 20. Very random number. And of course we'll apply to this and later unit orders and to all units of same type. Do I want to apply that as well to my artillery pieces? Self-propelled howitzer stationing 2 kilometers west of the area? Possibly. The only thing I would like to switch is resupply trigger down to 10%, I think. So let's proceed with that. I don't mind. Okay, we can close it. We can. You are on call. That's correct. Do you have that updated? Yes, you have. But I think the second platoon. Yeah, you don't have it updated. So let's switch to default. Of course, we will apply to this in the later unit orders. We can close it now. And let's see. Now let's go to. I think I did I forget about something? That's my HQ. Mm, utility vehicle HQ. Okay, I don't really care about you, if I'm honest. Let's go to artillery. Self-propelled howitzers. Where are you guys? That's the unit of map. Okay, perfect. Let's go to you. You are on call. Edit SOP. Let's go to default. We will decrease resupply trigger down to 10. Apply to this and later unit orders. Correct. Now let's go to on call. It's updated. Perfect. So we can hit targets even up to Lippach and Lauschheim. Cool. That's great. Oh, it would be so nice to know where are the enemies. I would I really would like to have now scouts available to provide me some reconnaissance information about the moving forces. I would send them, for example, to Valheim, set up them in those ridges. If my recon would be able to travel so quickly, I suppose using jeeps or any kind of motorized equipment, motorized vehicles, that would be possible. And if I had that information, I would be able to bombard that area while the enemies are moving, and that would be great. Unfortunately, it's not possible. Though I could call in artillery fire at some point, for example, after first cycle in the area of Lipach, just bombard it casually. Uh, and then of course rest and resupply my forces. And before they reach the area when my units start firing, I should be my batteries my companies should be resupplied and ready for action and another fire support missions. Either way, let's go to third company. I'm sorry, that's the second company. Okay, not the third. Why does it say third? Okay, I click on third and thank you, game. Of course, default, we decrease resupply trigger down to 10 and apply to this and later unit orders. And now that's correct. Perfect. Do we want to set up SOPs for our tanks now or start the scenario and do it later? That's a great question. Actually, we are going to share very similar SOPs between my tank platoons. So let's do it. Let's set up SOP. Let's go to default tactical initiative slide. Maybe moderate. Though they will be coming from northwest Elvangen area. The question is where we are going to deploy them. That's a great question though. We may need to figure it out soon. Of course, I don't really know what will happen with my forces, with my mechanized infantry after enemy attack. So at that point, I should have some plan for it. But since my information is limited, I really don't know where I will start sending my troops because we may need to move back our defensive line up to Buch, Schwabsberg, or whatever that area is, or maybe even on those ridges down south. Getting to those ridges down south will be problematic because this is pretty far away, and even if you see roads over here, even the highway, I suppose the mobility will be not great. Our mobility is quite nice over here, 72%, 52 only, again 72, 75. Okay, it looks quite solid. 72, so we may be able to get really quickly down to that crossroad of B29 and B290, and we'll find out. Anyway, let's go back to SOP. Acceptable losses, moderate, or minimal? No, moderate. That's fine. Fire discipline, of course, maximum range. I don't remember what kind of cannon you are using. That's 120 mm L44. And what's your range? 6 kilometers. Wow, that's huge. That's huge, buddy, really. Let me set up SOP and let's check where I can place them to provide some nice fire support. Actually, even that ridge looks promising with the range of 6 kilometers. Of course, if they penetrate my first defense line and if they close into A7 highway, I can deploy my tanks on ridges over here. Schwabsberg, reach overlooking the Schwabsberg as well, and I should be able to provide enough fire support. It would be great. But again, let's go back to SOP. So maximum range, relocate never, that's correct. Movement preference, roads, that's for sure. Minefield contact doesn't matter. And resupply trigger. What kind of ammunition you have? High explosives rounds, armor piercing rounds, and high explosives anti-tank rounds. Okay, so down to 10%. maybe 15, no, 10%. Either way, we will need to analyze that regularly and check in what's the ammunition state of every and each unit, each and every unit, every and each. Wow, interesting construct. Okay, and now apply to this and later unit orders and apply to all units of same type. Let's just exclude HQ and another HQ, and that's it. Okay, that's the other battalion HQ. Okay, so that's the armored battalion, tank battalion, and that's the company HQ. So we should have one more HQ, yeah, the third company HQ. Okay, excluded, and rest are tanks. Okay, proceed. Perfect. So that's done. Great. Mm, Leopard 2A1. What about the third platoon? Where are you starting? Why do I see you over here? The deployment zone. I cannot deploy you over there. And I cannot deploy you down here. That's quite misleading. It's really misleading. Are you going to come down from down from south or from northwest? I have no clue. Do we have any information about that? Well, they may actually come from south following A7, which wouldn't be really bad because those positions over here are great. But who knows? Okay, let's close it for now. Let's select. Oh my goodness, really? No, I wanted to mark HQ. Okay, thank you. Let's edit company HQ, SOP. Tactical initiative generous, acceptable losses minimal. Standoff 4 hexes. That's single Leopard 2A4, but still we have to keep it alive, I suppose. Despite the fact we could use it, because why not? I think it would hurt the subunits under his command. So even despite the fact it's not marked as HQ but as a simple tank unit, I think it's still the role of HQ. It even says support role. So do we have any interesting information we could extract from it? Not really. Okay, so let's go back to its SOP. Standoff range 4 hexes, correct. Fire discipline maximum range. Relocate when? Never, because it doesn't make any sense. Unless we want to relocate after receiving any fire. Why not? Movement, roads as well. And resupply trigger, well, we can decrease it down to 10, but of course it won't really apply to that unit, I think. But sometimes it happens that HQ has to fight as well. And of course apply to this and later unit orders and to apply to all units of same type. Oh my goodness, really? Okay, let me uncheck all of those. Okay, that's the correct one. That's the correct one. That's also the correct one because that's the another company. Yeah, that's the fourth company, okay? You guys not really. You also not, and you also not. Okay, perfect. Can you imagine that if we didn't have that, that would modify everything. And we need to come back to all those units and again set up them once more. Jesus. And that was the case some time ago. Okay, let's proceed anyway. Let's close it. Okay. We still have flag elements under those companies, tank companies. We have Gepards. Oh, really? I need to update your SOP as well. Oh, this is so frustrating. Okay, let's go to your default SOP. Tactical initiative generous, acceptable losses moderate. Yeah, why not? Preferred standoff range 3 hexes, 2 fire discipline maximum range. Relocate when? After receiving any fire? Yeah, why not? Movement preference, concealment, roads and concealment. A resupply trigger doesn't really matter because it's counted on bursts, so I think 25% is. Or maybe no. Let's decrease it down to 10% as well. Okay. Now let's apply to this and later unit orders. Do I want to apply to all units? No, not really. I will do it manually. So let's close it for now. Now let's go to third company. What kind of flag we have here? Okay, that's the Stinger team. We have to update it as well. Wait a second. That's already updated. Okay, perfect. So we can close it. And let's go to fourth company flag element. And that's also Stinger team. And I suppose you are also updated. Yes, sir, you are. Perfection. Love it. And last but not least, actually maybe least, that's my reconnaissance element. Plenty of reconnaissance units, as you can see, different type, because we have motorcycle recon and as well wolf. I suppose you are going to share very similar SOP because you are designed for very similar role. And tactical initiative generous, yes sir. Acceptable losses minimal. Preferred standoff range 2 hexes. Great question. 2 hexes. Yeah, that's up to kilometer. Yeah, that's fine. Up to 2 hexes. Fire discipline. Hold until fired on, of course. Relocate when after receiving any fire. Correct. Movement preference. We will check routes as well. Carriers when empty doesn't really matter. Resupply trigger, I think it also doesn't matter. So apply to this and later unit orders and to all units of same type. And what do we have here? All those units, that's correct. So here we have 2 Wolf Jeeps and here we have motorcycle recon and that's correct. Of course we proceed. At some point we may decide to switch slightly my SOP for those motorcycle recon. They are equipped with hand grenade, G3 rifle. If we lose too many men from mechanized infantry platoon, we can replace them with those recon elements. Of course, they don't represent huge combat value, but still, if we need to hold urban areas or set up an ambush, why not? We can still use them. Of course, they won't be effective at all against armored vehicles with the enemy, but dealing with the soft targets, yeah, why not? The primary goal, either way, for them is to provide as much reconnaissance as possible. What kind of systems do you have, by the way? Sensors. Optical low magnification visible spectrum, optical sight with zoom, optical gun sight with zoom. I would expect something more. Extended combat range, yeah, recon platform, movement not limited, okay. Oh, this is not something exceptional, I would say. I would rather expect more more sensors, more more systems related strictly with reconnaissance capabilities, but that's fine. SOPs set up. We still have HQ for them. Oh my goodness, I clicked on that HQ. Why it's always working like that? Oh my god. Oh, Kubel. Huge. That's a huge thing. That's a game changer. So-called Wunderwaffe. Absolutely. Let's edit its SOP. Tactical initiative generous. Acceptable losses minimal. Preferred send-off range. Whoa, you dear boy. Up to 6 hexes, I think. Because we don't stand a chance against anything. Fire discipline doesn't even apply. Relocate when while enemy spotted and get the fuck out from the area immediately. Movement preference, concealment and roads, yes. Whereas doesn't apply. Apply to this unit only and to this and later unit orders. Let's close. Is that everything finally? Please tell me it is. 25 minutes. Oh god, that was challenging. I would like to check my HQs though. Mm, Interesting. Do you have really one standoff range? What kind of units? What if? Wait a second. Wait a second. This is not what I would like to see. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. That's the HQ for my fourth company. This is very bad. I don't like it. Let's change it. Tactical initiative correct. Acceptable losses correct. Preferred standoff range 4 hexes. A bit too close. 5 hexes. Maybe even 6. Fire discipline, hold until fired on. You don't have any systems capable of destroying from the long range. Not really, you are terrible. By the way, the combination of M113 and Unimog and Kubal, it's a bit weirdo. Your maximum speed is 60 kilometers. What's the maximum speed of Unimog? Also 60. Okay, so no, that makes sense. And 72 of Kubal. Okay. I thought that the M113 is way slower than Unimog, but looks like it's very similar. So okay, that makes sense then. Let's go back to its SOP. Relocate when after receiving any fire. Movement preference, concealment and roads. That's correct. Passengers disembark and range 1 from end of path. 0 because that's the HQ. There's no point on disembarking quicker and sooner and earlier. And carriers when empty, of course, hide nearby. Okay, and that's correct. Recovery, that section doesn't really matter. Of course, apply to this and later in orders. Okay, so that's it. Now, that's the HQ for who? It's also not updated, really? Oh my god. And that's the HQ of anti-tank company, okay. What do you have? You have Unimog, Kubel. Oh wow, huge. So tactical initiative correct, acceptable losses correct, preferred stand of range. We are going to increase it up to 6 hexes. Fire discipline. Can you even fire? Oh, you can. You have MP2 SMG and hand grenades. Ooh, wow. So of course, hold on till fired on. Relocate when after receiving any fire. Movement, preference, concealment and roads. Yep. Disembark 0 from end of path, rest doesn't matter. And apply to this and later in the orders. And you have hold, perfect. Now another HQ. That's the HQ for 5th. That's the battalion? Wait a second. No. That's the company. What kind of company? Oh, that's the mortar one. Okay. And you have 13 units. Mostly Kubel, Unimog, some headquarters, some M113. Okay. Let's edit your SOP default. Correct. Preferred stand of range. Let's increase it up to 6. Fire discipline. Hold on till fired on. After receiving any fire, relocate when. Correct. Movement preference, concealment and roads both. Disembark 0 from end of path. Cars when empty, hide nearby, of course. And apply to this and later in orders. Perfect. And you can also hold to get that extra cover bonus. Another HQ, and that's the battalion HQ. You have martyrs. Oh, those martyrs are not equipped with any anti-tank weaponry. Interesting. Okay, let me edit your SOP, my little boy. 8 hexes. Acceptable losses moderate? Absolutely not. Minimal. And standoff range down to 6 hexes. Hold until fired on. Uh, maybe. Yeah. Relocate when after receiving any fire. Avoid NBC doesn't really matter in that scenario, I suppose. Movement preference roads as well as concealment. Passenger disembark 0 from end of path. Carriers when empty. In that case, I would rather prefer to support passengers, since those are martyrs equipped with 20mm RH-202 autocannon. Yeah, sounds good. Resupply trigger doesn't matter, and apply to this and later unit orders, and you have hold order. That's correct. Who's left? Another HQ. That's the brigade HQ. And I suppose you also have weird. We, yeah. 8 hexes. We are going to decrease it down to 6 and also acceptable losses to minimal. What do you have? Mostly M113 and plenty of headquarter units and some MG3 infantry support unit. Okay. Hold until fired on. Correct. Relocate when enemy spotted after receiving any fire. What M113 is equipped with 7.62 MG3. Okay. Maschinengewehr 3. Movement preference, roads, concealment, avoid NPC, right. Passenger disembark at range 0 from end of path, and carriers when empty. Hide nearby, yeah. I don't want to lose them unnecessary, so I don't really need those 7.62mm MG3. Of course, that's a great firepower if you have 8 of them. Sure, why not? But I cannot lose them. They are my way to escape from serious situation. Okay, perfect. Apply to this and later unit orders. And also hold is set up. Perfect. And looks like that's the last HQ. Please tell me it's last HQ. What about your default? Okay, you have murders with Milans. Interesting. Tactical initiative generous. Acceptable losses minimal. Preferred standoff range 6 hexes. Yes. Fire discipline. You have maximum range. Yeah, why not? Let's. Or actually, no. Milan has only 2 kilometers range, so we will decrease it down to 2/3 because 20mm autocannon has 3 kilometers range. So we want to maximize the effectiveness of Milan weaponry if needed, of course. That's the HQ. They shouldn't be in combat, but it happens. So I think the previous scenario proved that. Relocate when after receiving any fire. Movement preferences, concealment roads. Passenger disembark 00. Cars when empty. Support passengers. Yes, I think I want those smarters to support passengers. I know it's a bit dangerous, but in general, I should assume that HQ unit will not fight. So I shouldn't allow for such situation. But it happens, as I've said. And resupply trigger will decrease it down to 10%, just in case. And apply to this in later orders. And tell me, please, that's everything. It should be everything now. Now I see it's everything. Perfection. Okay. 33 minutes. All units deployed. All SOPs set up. And now it's about time to finally start playing the scenario. But since it's 33 minutes, I think it's about time to end the episode. So I hope you enjoyed and hopefully see you in the next one where we'll finally start the first command cycle of an Autobahn too far scenario. So once again, thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.